Oh, you have a cute little daughter that helps take care of you. Psych! She's mine! Oh, you want to work hard so you can save up to propose to the love of your life? Psych! She's mine! Oh, you thought that you hired this cute woman to be your assistant and help you manage your little schedule? Psych! She's mine! There have been a number of Spider-Man iterations to appear in media since it took its first animated swing on the silver screen almost 70 years ago.
However, it wasn't until 2002 that the technology had advanced to the point where depicting the web-slinger in its full glory was possible in live action.
That and pseudo-executives had no faith in live-action superhero movies after Batman Forever, but that's a story for another day.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Since then, we've now been treated to 3 live-action Spider-Man franchises with different actors, each to varying degrees of celebration.
We don't talk about that shitty YouTube Lotus one. That one was dead. It was absolutely ours.
Yet, in our opinion, it's kind of undisputed that the Raimi trilogy was the best of the 3 in terms of story, action, character development, and overall impact on the culture. And it seems like you and everyone else agrees. Recent polls suggest that out of the 3 main Spider-Man franchises, this one was the one that was most well received by fans.
I need to be honest with you guys though. Spider-Man 3 is the best of the trilogy, and it's not even a competition.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Now, if you disagree, you can go argue with your auntie's non-existent girlfriends, because we're going to spend the entirety of this video explaining to you why we're right.
But before we get into that, thanks for coming back. We appreciate it. Today, we're going to be talking about all things Spider-Man 3, why this Raimi trilogy is the best. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, bell notification, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your sister, tell your friend, all of that stuff. And you'll get notified for any of the uploads that's coming through.
Throughout this video, we're going to talk about everything great and not so great about this movie. But for the sake of order, we're going to split this video into 3 sections. Number 1, bad writing. Number 2, unironically hilarious. Number 3, better than the MCU. And number 4, iconic memes. Because there's no way I can talk about Spider-Man 3 without mentioning memes.
That's actually 4 categories.
I can count.
Spider-Man 3 was written by Sam Raimi, Steve Ditko, and the legend himself, Stan Lee. God rest his soul. And though I love this movie, I gotta say, there's certain things in this film that absolutely make no sense. Parts of the movie just don't align with common sense. For example, Flint Marko somehow breaks out of prison, but rather than finding somewhere to hide, he goes back to his family home to see his daughter and to get a change of clothes. And you know what? It's fair enough. It's probably a bit crazy to run around New York City in a prison jumpsuit, but police officers literally drive around his neighborhood, and at no point did they think,
maybe we should check his one and only registered address.
And I know that writers tend to do this, because otherwise the plot won't happen, and we won't understand the character's motivations, but come on bro.
That's just lazy writing.
Raimi doesn't stop there though. When the police finally have him cornered, Marko finds himself in a sandpit where scientists are carrying out what looks like $1 billion experiment, and when they find out that there's been a change in mass during the test, naturally they put everything on pause and check out the anomaly. Nah, I'm joking, these guys are just like fucking and then just carry on with the experiment.
Donnie, we got a little fluctuation on 1.
There's a change in the silicon mass.
Yeah, it's probably a bird. It'll fly away when we fire it up.
Initiating demolecularization.
Like, I know it's 2007, but you're telling me this government facility has the technology to turn a man into a sand homunculus, but can't afford video cameras inside a test site. That don't make no sense.
That don't make no sense!
The final piece of bad writing that to me was unforgivable occurred when Peter finally decided to remove the black suit. Eddie happened to be praying in the exact same church that Peter was perching on top of. And as a Christian, I gotta say, this prayer was wild. How can you ask God to kill another man? That just didn't sit right with me. Man really said,
Hey God, how you been? I know we haven't spoken in a while, but I need you to do me a favor and just run it back to the Old Testament style justice and just kill this waste man, please. Please!
I know he stole your girl, but it's never that deep. Anyways, as Peter's struggling to remove the suit, Eddie hears the commotion and decides to go and check it out. And this is where he transforms into Venom. But as he transforms, this man is screaming at the top of his lungs in a building that is essentially an echo chamber. You expect me to believe that Peter did not hear Eddie literally screeching just below him, but Eddie somehow heard him in a completely different room. Come on bro. He could have defeated Venom then and there before he got an understanding of his powers, and Harry wouldn't have had to die. This is BS.
Also, I see no change of clothes next to Peter. So, did this guy have to swing home with his dangling in the wind? These are the questions we need answers to, Joe Biden.
does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies.
Spider-Man 3 is actually one of the funniest films I've ever watched in my life. I've watched this film close to 10 times since it was released, and I can confirm that it consistently has me cracking up every time. And I don't just mean the bits of comedy that are sprinkled through the script. This movie is unintentionally funny all throughout. In a scene where Mary Jane loses her part in the show after negative reviews, she walks out into the streets of New York to what she believes is an ovation for her. We get to see her face light up just for the joy to be taken away once she realizes that it's for Spider-Man. And fam, this was hilarious. It's like, you really thought for a second, like, you really did. I might sound like I'm being mean, but Mary Jane is objectively a trash human being. She actually belongs to the streets. She has cheated on every single boyfriend she's had in the franchise.
Spider-Man 1, she dumps Flash and gets with Harry like the next day.
She belongs to the streets.
Then in the same movie, she gets saved by Spider-Man and decides to give him the now iconic upside down kiss.
She belongs to the streets.
Spider-Man 2 comes along and she gets engaged to J. Jonah Jameson's son. But then this Jezebel jilts him at the altar, starting his Red Pill incel arc as she runs over to Peter and gets with him.
She belongs to the streets.
Then Spider-Man 3, she kisses Harry, who at this point is Peter's best friend. Like, bro, I'm not trying to slut shame, but chill.
She belongs to the streets.
If it was my girl asking other guys to hang around each other like that, I would have taken myself out. I'm joking. I'm single.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to.
Anyway, this film has way too many iconic one-liners.
Look at little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry? You want forgiveness? Get religion.
Protected you in high school, now I'm gonna kick your little ass.
Miss Brent? That's not the position I hired you for.
Find us some shade. Thanks, Out Nice.
Like, who says things like this? It's so unrealistic. It makes me think, like, who does Sam Raimi know that speaks like this? But at the same time, it just makes me laugh. But there's an element of charm when you think about it. The stereotypical nerd now believes he's cool, and he's doing to everyone what was done to him all these years ago. Because now he has the power and the ego to do what he wants.
But then finally, we get to the creme de la creme of unintentional funny moments, and that's Harry Osborn. This man is an actual menace. This guy forces MJ to break up with Peter so it could hurt him, but he doesn't leave it at that. He then meets up with Peter, slowly reveals to him that he stole his girl, telling him he could taste her strawberry lip gloss, and then finishes the ultimate trolling by looking back and giving him this smile. Do you know how much of a menace you have to be to do this to someone? Peter's a better man than me because I know for a fact I would end the day in jail if a man stole my girl and then gave me that look. My heart wouldn't be able to take it. It's wild. Now this wouldn't be a video on comic book movies if we didn't find a way to shit on the MCU. And this is what the short section is.
Even though this film came out in 2007, somehow, someway, they have better CGI than Marvel films in 2023. The CGI on the scene where Flint first becomes Sandman is better than the CGI on him in No Way Home. And I love No Way Home. So it pains me to say this, but bro, they were slacking. Look at this compared to what we get in Secret Invasion.
You're flailing. You're weak.
The way the arm is rendered, it just doesn't look right at all. Like, I know it isn't the VFX team's fault. Marvel just overworks them and doesn't give them enough time to make changes. But this is just poor from Marvel. But it's not just the CGI. Spider-Man 3 had their actors filming on set at location rather than having them in a big room with a green screen. And the movie benefits from that so much. It takes me out from the experience when I'm watching an MCU project and I'm seeing floating heads and what's obviously not a real human body moving. Even in scenes where there should be no reason to not have a real person acting. Additionally, there's a level of flair and personality to the cinematography that you just don't get at all in MCU movies. You can feel that this is someone's actual creative vision, rather than just an uninspired product that comes out in the Marvel conveyor belt. This might seem like nothing, but even the simple, slowed down black and white scenes of Flint Marko's interaction with Uncle Ben give off such a different vibe to everything you see in the MCU. And it's a shame, because when Raimi directed The Multiverse of Madness, you can tell he was trying to bring some of that sauce to the project. But for the most part, it just ended up like your average current MCU movie.
We've come to the best and final section of this video, and that's the iconic meme spawned from this movie. The legend of Bully Maguire began once our protagonist gay in the black suit. But even before Peter bonded with the symbiote, Bully Maguire showed signs of life. This man was toxic as His girlfriend gets bad reviews for her performance, and instead of just listening to her and letting her vent a bit, this man makes it about himself and how being Spider-Man is also hard. His toxicity doesn't end here, however. He lets Felicia kiss him as Spider-Man in the exact way that Mary Jane did in the first movie, knowing she would be in the crowd. But then, the guy still thinks it's the right time to try proposing. A little bit of self-awareness would have made Peter realise that maybe he should just cut his losses and try to explain to Mary Jane what happened on stage. But nah, Bully Maguire sees Felicia, waves at her, he then introduces Felicia to Mary Jane, who proceeds to rub it in her face that she kissed Spider-Man. Part of me feels sorry for her, but as a neutral watching the film, this scene holds a special place in my heart. I'm not gonna lie, it warms it.
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness?
We've already established that Mary Jane is a trash human being, but damn, even she didn't deserve that. Peter then gets the black suit and completes his transformation to a full-fledged Bully Maguire, which comes complete with bangs and guy liner. It's actually too funny how back then, bangs were the way to show that a guy was a bad boy. It's actually so lame, but I can't help but love it. And bro, we can't talk about this without bringing up his legendary theme.
Where am I?
At a point, this song was all over my TikTok and shorts because it had meme culture in the chokehold for real. People even started to add it to real life clips of Tobey Maguire, and it actually suited him perfectly. Then we got the dance scene, and I don't care what anyone says, this is the greatest thing Spider-Man has ever done. I know everyone counted it at the time because it seemed out of nowhere, but this is cinematic genius to me. It perfectly showed how the normal, meek Peter Parker we were used to was dead. And now our screens were being graced with the presence of Spider-Chad. No one's girlfriend was safe around Spider-Chad. Oh, you have a cute little daughter that helps take care of you? Psych! She's mine! Oh, you want to work hard so you can save up to propose to the love of your life? Psych! She's mine! Oh, you thought that you hired this cute woman to be your assistant and help you manage your little schedule? Psych! She's mine! This man was stealing from everyone. He stole Eddie's girl and his corner office job. He stole half of his best friend's face, and then he almost stole Sandman's life. That's attempted murder. He should be in jail right now. This sadistic guy goes and tells Aunt May he killed Flint Marko with a smile on his face. This is not a man that should be roaming the streets. He's a sick b****. This is the height of menacery. J. Jonah Jameson was right all along.
You serious?
They managed to make babyface Tobey Maguire actually sound cool. Man is out here saying lines like this.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
And
now dig on this.
And unironically making him sound suave. Spider-Man 3 is my favourite of all the live-action Spider-Man movies, even just for this.
I think the reason we love this movie so much is because it reminds us of a time where there was a level of innocence to filmmaking. The creators and the actors weren't trying to force their political views down our throats.
Pause.
They just wanted to make the best piece of entertainment that they could. You see Spider-Man land in front of the American flag as he's about to receive the key to the city, and you can tell the flag is something that you're meant to have pride in. If the scene was recreated in the modern era, it probably would have BLM or pride flag behind him, because the American flag is supposedly no longer something that's inclusive enough, not caring that they may be alienating 50% of their audience. There's an emphasis on police officers actually being people that do their best to protect the city and its citizens. Whereas if it was made today, I can only imagine the virtue signaling about police brutality that would be shoehorned into the movie because God forbid someone ever wants to show police in a good light.
There was even a scene where two fat guys sat on either side of Peter, almost squeezing him, and it's played as a comedic moment. I just wish we could go back to the days where this was okay and you wouldn't get a mob of body positivity activists crying on Twitter about how the scene must victimize them. Superhero movies are supposed to show us the best of society and the ideal of what the normal person can be. I just wish filmmakers would go back to this time in history and try to put out good, non-political messages that we can all sit down and watch without feeling that the creators hate us. But unfortunately, I don't think it will happen anytime soon.
Anyway guys, is Spider-Man 3 the greatest film of all time? Is it as good as we believe it to be? Does MJ really belong to the streets? Did Peter really swing home from the church naked? These are all things we need to know. We're asking the real questions here. But anyway, before we go, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, share, all of that. We appreciate you. We're out.
See you, chump.
And today, we're going to be talking...
More energy.
Full podcasting. I'm joking. And I'm saying floating heads on what's a not... Do I even not speak?
I feel you. Sometimes I'm like, how am I not even say this?